Good morning, everyone listening to us from different parts of the world. You're welcome again to another beautiful edition of our Real Estate Insights. And today we want to talk about investing in agriculture. Investing in agriculture. My name is Stephen Ifeoluwa, and I'll be taking you through this. We'll be talking about opportunities in Nigerian agriculture ahead of 2026. We have been able to take a lot of trainings, in the course of the year on agriculture. We have been able to, explain to one another what agriculture is, the benefit of agriculture to Nigeria, to man, to Africa, and to the rest of the world. And as well, we've talked about agro-tourism. In the course of the year, we've been able to do quite a number of things, as regards agriculture. So today, we want to do it in a, pretty different way. It's going to be more of, discussion this time around. So we'll be asking questions from one another, after which I'll be taking the answers to the questions, and then we'll try to see if we can run through this in 20 minutes. All right, so let's start with this opening quote from the first president of the United States of America, George Washington. And what did he say? Agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and most noble employment of man. Let me take it again. Agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and most noble employment of man. And for George Washington to have said this, I'm sure he thought it through and realized that agriculture is one place where you deal with nature. You deal with land, you deal with plants, you deal with animals, and then you try as much as possible to see how you can get the best out of the land, out of the plants, out of the animals. And then what it does is that it brings food, to the table of man. It helps to nourish man. It is with agriculture, the right agriculture, that we get, the best form of health. And then the usefulness to man, and everything around man as well, cannot be overemphasized. And as well, when you talk about employment, it's one of the best. In fact, as a farmer that I am, I say agriculture is the number one, occupation in the world. Like I said, because it allows you to deal with nature. You deal with land, you cultivate the land, you nurture it, you plant there. As well, you get animals, you nurture them, to see how you can get the best out of them so that we can get to feed, ourselves. And that is why George Washington must have said this, that agriculture is the most healthful, the most useful, and most noble employment of man. So like I said, it's going to be discussion this morning. And so let's look at discussion one. All right. Nigerian agriculture at a glance, right? What are the most profitable agricultural investments in Nigeria or Africa? So for a good number of our villa owners and our team members here, I've often heard that, people come around and say, okay, I love rice. I want to do rice. I want to do rice farming. And other people come up, they wake up one morning and say, I love cattle ranching. So I want to start doing cattle ranching. And I found out that a lot of people amongst us don't do well to research, don't do well to understand, what we want to do in that space. We feel that what we need to do, to get into the business of agriculture is to check out what we like and what we don't like. Whereas when we talk about agriculture and agribusiness, it goes deeper than that. You have to, research enough what you want to do, know how to do it, and then you think about how to get it done. And that's why I want to ask, one, two of us, that have we done any research so far and found out, the top 10 export products in Nigeria, and in Africa as of now? What are the most profitable agricultural investments in Nigeria or Africa? Ms. Clem, can you say something about that? Have you thought about at any time to do a research on, okay, this is an agro-to-home development company, and as well, I know that agriculture is one of the industries that I know that is directly related with other industries, right? And have you ever thought about doing something in agricultural space and done a research, to find out most profitable agricultural investments in Nigeria? Not really. You are not one of the lovers of agriculture? Oh, oil palm, right? Okay, palm plantation. Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Oluwagbemiga. Okay.
From research,
All right.
I'm doing lots of it up to when I graduated to make deep research. Found out that we are the largest producer of cassava in the world,
Yes.
and that's something remarkable.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, let me get one more from a male, Mr. Timothy.
All right, I feel Nigeria is a good number of our cash crop products.
Okay.
Basically, our cash crop products are very good.
All right, thank you very much. So one of the first few things as an individual that wants to invest in agriculture that you ask yourself is, what are the most profitable, in the areas of plantation or animal husbandry? You sit down and ask yourself that what do I think is the best I can go into? And the first thing you should do is to research, and that will guide you on what exactly you should go into. All right, the answers I have, is that one of the first few things you can think of is crop production. All right, don't forget we defined agriculture the other day and we said it has 4 major branches. We talked about crop production, we talked about livestock, we talked about fishery, and we talked about forestry. All right, and so I'm listing them out here to say that any of the crops, you can think about them that this is a crop I want to do, and the next thing you do is to research into it. It's funny how maize is a crop you can invest into and it will do so much for you, because bulk of the feed of our animals is gotten from maize. The 70% of the feed composition is gotten from maize. So you need to understand that every crop has its own benefits and every crop has its own demerits. So but what would inform you on what exactly to go into is research. All right, there are a lot of crops you can go into and then they will do so well for us. Maize is one of them. Like we rightly said, cocoa is doing so much. I think it's the number 3 when you talk about export produce in Nigeria. All right, there's sesame seed. All right, that has been top for some years now. I have a friend right now, they are doing coffee in Nigeria and in Rwanda. In fact, just last week they served coffee, in a particular environment. Another thing is cocoa. Cocoa is doing so well. And before we used to be the top producers of cocoa, in Africa, But one of the things we are looking at is that very soon again, our government will take agriculture seriously, and so private investors as well will take it more seriously and then start investing heavily into it. Another one is livestock and poultry production. We do cattle ranching here at Admond Harvest and Homes, and there is so much you can get from cattle ranching. We have the breeding aspect. We have the aspect that helps in production of meat. And as well we have the one that helps in the aspect of milk, production. Also, another thing that you can think of is agro-processing and value-added products. We produce cassava, just like Mr. Oluwagbemiga said. We are number 1 in the world producer of cassava, and there's so much we can get, from cassava. One of the things we are rightly doing now, let me not mention, is that we are processing something that we are going to roll out in different parts, of Nigeria, and eventually we hope to take it outside Africa. There is adding value to whatever thing we have. That cassava, instead of just having it as cassava, you can process it into gari, you can process it into flour. IITA, I think some years ago, they were the first set of people to do cassava bread. That is thinking of how to add value to whatever agricultural thing, we are doing, and that can be something we can go into. Also, processing facilities, agro-processing. One of the major problems of farmers is the fact that there are no processing facilities to help them process, from the raw materials or from one finished good to another finished good. So that is one aspect to look into as well. Agro-processing. There are people that what they do is just to set up processing facilities, for farmers, and they collect money for the processing, and over the years they get to make their money, and then external people can also come and process for them. Another one is agricultural technology and innovation. I'll talk about precision agriculture and digital agriculture as we go on. A lot of things are happening, in the world right now. Back in the days, we never used to have drones in irrigation, but now we have drones that are helping us to irrigate our land, successfully. There's GPS, there's GPS sensing, now being involved in agriculture. And then there are equipment as well now that are being AI enabled in such a way there are machines that can go on your farm, will be weeding, and at the same time will be planting and doing so many things, at the same time. And another one, that Adbond stands, as the forerunner is agro-to-home agriculture and real estate. This is Adbond's model, and with this model we have been able to help a lot of families, to plant, on their land, engage it, and then, earn something out of it. So that is answer one, to question one. What are the most profitable things we can go into in Nigeria and Africa? We can think of anything in the crop production sector and ensure we do so much research on it. Livestock and poultry production, agro-processing and value-added products, agricultural technology, agricultural innovation, agro-to-home agriculture, and real estate. All right, the next question, that we'll be exploring is exploring opportunities in Nigerian agriculture. What is your understanding of agriculture and its role in Nigeria's economy? Again, like I said, it's just like a reminder of what we have done in previous meetings. So I want to ask, what is your understanding of agriculture, and what do you think are the roles they play in Nigeria's economy? Shaula, all right, can you say something about the role of agriculture in Nigeria's economy? All right, so that's more like food security. Thank you. Okay, accountant, your understanding of agriculture and its role in Nigerian economy from the accounting point of view.
It's really what contributes more to the GDP of this country, so to say, it should be. So the government policy and every other thing not really contribute to that. Debated to some other things.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's look at that. Just like accountant said, one of the major contribution is contribution to GDP. I think I once said here as well that between 1960 to 1969, agriculture used to be the mainstay of Nigerian economy. That was what was giving us 57% of our GDP as of that time. And all through, even though we neglected it at some point because of the oil boom, even when it was COVID season, it was agriculture that was really still sustaining the economy. Until now, it's still doing so much more. So we can't play with agriculture because of the vital role it plays in the gross domestic product of a nation. Another part is that, I've also mentioned here that is one of the major contribution, to employment generation in Africa and the rest of the world. Agriculture does so much in employing both youths, both men and women in achieving its goals. Another thing is food security, like Ms. Shaula mentioned. With the right agriculture, a nation should be able to feed, ourselves. If you are doing the right thing in the agricultural space, then a nation should be able to feed ourselves and even export, excess of whatever thing, they are getting. So one of the benefits as well, is that it helps in food security. And we cannot talk about contribution to GDP and not talk about foreign exchange earnings. Agriculture used to be, the major source of foreign exchange earnings. Until now, is still doing that, because when a country, exports, our product to another country, what comes in is a foreign, currency, and then there's this foreign exchange that it helps to build up. Also, it helps in rural development. Through our agro-to-home model, one of the things we have been able to do is to transform rural communities, and then make them urban, with the agro-to-home style. It's one of the things as well that agriculture does. Industrial development. We say that agriculture has a forward and backward linkage with every other sector. Without agriculture, a lot of industries would not survive. Talk about the clothes we are putting on today, the hair we ladies are putting on that we are looking so amazing. If you look at it from point A to Z, you see that there is something that agriculture is doing to every industry. And also, it helps to reduce poverty. I've seen people that have gone into agriculture and have moved from zero to millionaires. And one of my friends that I would usually mention is, one of the people we hosted at Great Wealth Summit. He moved from being a peasant farmer, doing a wedu, doing a cucumber at the back of his house, to being, a big player in the agricultural industry now, supplies irrigation materials, and also has his farm doing, so well. So these are the answers to the question that we asked, which understanding of agriculture and its role in Nigerian economy. Okay, let's go to the third one. From farm to table, understanding the agricultural value chain. All right, what are the key areas of the agricultural value chain where investors can add value? This is another question, to look at. We talked about this also previously, and we're just going to emphasize it, again. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Think about. We talked about agribusiness. We talked about 4 major sectors of the agribusiness value chain, because we said we need to move from just doing agriculture to agribusiness, which is the business of agriculture. You do agriculture as a business and you get the best out of it. And we said agribusiness has to do with, all you have to do with a particular, produce from farm, to fork. All the activities involved in getting a produce, from farm, to fork. That means from the farm, the planting or the rearing, down to how it gets to the table, of the consumer. We talked about 4 of them. I don't know if you can remember. Ms. Cole, can you remember that? Okay, CEO. I know CEO is. All right. Thank you. What do you call it? Midstream or midstream? Okay. All right. Let me just go into that. So we talk about pre-upstream, we talk about upstream, we talk about midstream, and then the downstream sector. So one of the things we have rightly said here is that as an enthusiast, as someone that loves agriculture, you can play in diverse parts of it. You may not be the person planting or rearing, but you can be the one adding value. You may not be the one planting or rearing, you can be the one having the processing facility. You may not be the one planting or rearing, you can be the one adding value and taking it from point A to point B. You may not be the one planting or rearing, and you can be the one exporting, what farmers, have produced on the farm. And that is what this value chain analysis is trying to make us understand. There are different value chains we can play in the agricultural space. We talk about the peer upstream. These are the ones involved in research. These days we see that we have modified seeds, we have dwarf pawpaw, we have a lot of things that, back in the days, coconut will grow so tall, cocoa will grow so tall, a lot of, pawpaw will grow so tall. But now we have dwarf species of this, of these crops. That is due to research. So we have research centers like IITA, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan. That's one of these. They were the ones that helped us, to get yellow cassava. So now, initially when we used to have cassava and you want to turn cassava from white to yellow cassava, or from white after processing it to gari, you want to turn from white to yellow gari, what you do then is add palm oil. But with research, IIT have been able to give us a cultivar that is yellow from the start. So when you process it, it is yellow. You don't need to add, oil, to it. So this is one of the things we are talking about. We should have more research institutions that are helping us, to dive into agriculture, to understand more of the science of agriculture. When you talk about the upstream, upstream is where the direct farming takes place. All right, that is where you plant your crops. That is where you rear your animals. So you can play in this space as well. When you talk about the midstream, I'm talking about the middlemen activities, the wholesalers, the retailers buying from one point and sharing to another. So, one of the things we decided to do at Adbond is that instead of just having our produce, being sold to middlemen, okay, let's cover that value chain to a point where we can take it directly from the farm to the table of our customers. And because of that, we're able to open our Villa Owners Community African Food Store at Magodo, where you can get to pick up, gari, you can pick up catfish, you can pick up kuli, you can pick up a number of things that, you can get to eat. I mean, very healthy products directly from the farm. Also, you can play in the downstream space. You can decide to be the marketer, the distributor, exporting from one country, to another. So that's the value chain analysis that I want us to look at when you're thinking about investing in agriculture. There are diverse aspects. In as much as you are playing in one role, you are adding, to the health, of man. All right. Next question I looked at is navigating challenges and seizing opportunities in agriculture. What are the key challenges and opportunities, facing agriculture in Nigeria or Africa? I'd like to hear one or two. I don't know if any one of us has been involved in farming a bit. You should know the challenges we are facing at this point. Miss Benny, you want to share it?
Let me answer this.
Okay, all right.
Number one, poor branding.
Poor branding.
That's poor branding.
Can you elucidate the bit, sir?
Like, they say that perception is everything. So, the way, let's start from Nollywood, the way they sell farm like somebody who wear rags, somebody who trek with leg, and our generation, we are moved by what we see. And I've watched a lot of movies in the Western world. Farmers are like gods. So, and they move it from generation. It's like a cartel. They move it from generation to generation. It's the work of their own family to feed the territory or any domain that they pick, and they will pass it from their children to their other children, because they know the impact at which government will even shoot financial support into that sector. So, as long as that perception needs to be worked on first, automatic, that's just number one. Number two is this thing that you put as a hand. So we don't have good preservation. Yeah, like everybody's just doing warehouse for so they can make money. Commodity trading. Tank farm. So things like that, things that have sharp money, not like something that really cares about what human being put into the mouth.
Exactly.
So that two aspects, if we work on it, just forget it. I can like when we went to role model, I said the essence of coming there is that one of allow the next gen to understand that you can be a medical doctor and most farms are there. They don't disturb each other. Now you know you one already. When you let's see one thing happen, even if it's one plot, 2 plots you are contributing. Imagine all of us contributing on 1 plot. Our population is 200 and something million, and we are contributing one plot of cassava. Let's do the maths. 3 bags of gari from 1 plot is 120 kg.
Yeah.
120 kg times 200 and something million people.
That's a whole lot.
You don't have any country will fix that. So, and that's if you combine it together, it's not even want to combine it because you are mentioning some stuff that you didn't want to mention. Imagine we are doing that and we have partnership with maybe like, let's say for example, Qatar and Airways. We have partnership with Airways. We have partnership with Value Jet, On Air, Service, or what you say?
Thank you very much, sir. Poor branding, And before I go into that, you realize that here we said, what are the key challenges and opportunities? Because actually, the challenges are opportunities. Whatever challenge you see mentioned here is an opportunity for someone to become a multi-millionaire in dollars. And one of the things that CEO rightly mentioned is poor branding. And I think I have mentioned this a couple of times that the perception people have about agriculture, even right from our primary school, is so bad. A lot of people see, like I think I've mentioned a situation where I went to a class to introduce myself, and a small girl, I introduced myself as a farmer, and the first thing she said was Inyama, that farmers are poor, farmers are dirty, and I mean, I had to sit that down, that I'm not poor. And you can see that I don't look dirty, but that's the program in their head as children. And that's why a good number of them cannot even think agriculture. So one of the things we even need to start doing is to start rewriting that program off, from their head, bringing them to see what farming really looks like, that they can work on, machines in the farm, they can look so good. There's so much precision and calculation in agriculture. Make them see the entirety of agriculture as something interesting. That poor branding has to go off, first. So I'm just going to mention other things, amongst what CEO has mentioned. There's climate change and environmental degradation. One of the major things we have been facing in the world, not even just Nigeria and Africa alone, is the issue, with what? Climate change. I used to know July to be the amount of the heaviest or the most rainfall in Nigeria. But unfortunately this year, July had so low rainfall, and I mean, it's strange. So things are really changing, and it means that farmers have to sit down to keep innovating, to keep thinking of how to get involved in irrigation in order to ensure that they get their problems, solved. Another one is limited access to finance. That's a big deal. In fact, I think myself, CEO, and a couple of others, we concluded that farming is for the wealthy. It's for the rich, because there is so much involved in getting, your produce from farm to fork. There is so much you need to do. The processing facilities we're talking about, they are not cheap. You talk about irrigation, they are not cheap. So there is limited access to finance from government level, and that's a big problem that we are hoping that maybe a private institution will come up, with low interest loans for farmers in order to be able to do what they need to do. Also, like what you saw in the picture, post-harvest losses and inadequate storage facilities is a big deal, again. And I think I talked about tomato juice story, of a lady that came in, I think from the US, and saw the large amount of wastage of tomato we had in the north, and decided to come up to start a company, Tomato Juice. There's so much problem from transporting your produce from one point to another. If you're involved in cattle ranching and you do meat sharing, for example, if you want to transport your meat from point A to point B, you have to use a cooling van. You can't transport it, with just an empty, from one point to another. It has to be a cooling van so that it maintains, the health and the structure of that meat, and so that it doesn't get to the table and then you eat something bad or poison. So post-harvest losses is a big deal in this part of the world, and is also an opportunity for someone out there. Also, growing demand for food and agricultural products. Like we all know, our population is not slowing down. It's rather unfortunate, or rather fortunate, whichever one we see it, whichever way we see it, that the population doesn't stop increasing in number, and that means more demand for food and more demand, for agricultural products, and that means that there are so many opportunities we can harness in this agricultural space. All right, discussion 5. After planting or rearing animals, but then they get to earn rental income. Why what? The land appreciates, in value. Also through this, we have been able to create jobs for people in the community, for graduates, to come and do, some research in our lab. As well, we have been able to increase food security by getting involved in planting and rearing of animals. And another thing we have been able to do is development of infrastructure and amenities in rural areas, because all the areas we have been involved in are totally rural areas. And with this concept of agro to home, we have been able to move them, from maybe their 100% ruralness, to about 20%, and with time, we're going to take them out totally, from the ruralness, to urbanness. All right, so that is a new space in the agricultural value chain that we can also look into. All right, question 6. Another thing that we have been able to get involved in here at Advent Harvest and Homes is to talk about a borderless Africa. Africa where we can all get involved in agriculture, exchange, our produce, and have easy access to moving from one African country to another African country. And we're talking about specialization and regional trade. How can African countries benefit from specializing in specific areas of agriculture and trading with each other? Let me ask that question. How can African countries benefit from specializing in specific areas of agriculture and trading with, each other? Ms. Cole, can you say something about that?
African countries benefit from specific areas
of agriculture and trading with each other. We're talking about borderless Africa, right?
Well, using those products, from what you have explained so far, making use of some of all these products, the value chain, of course, in view. One of the benefits I think would come in is when you bring in exportations, interact with other countries. This would be a great benefit. And what else? Yes, production of this quality product. Having ensured that you ensure the value chain is from the beginning to the end.
All right. Thank you very much. We did something in economics. They call it theory of comparative advantage. And what it says is that a country should specialize in the product in which they have, the highest opportunity cost. All right. And, for a country like Nigeria, naturally, nobody should be able to dominate us when it comes to cassava, because our land gives us easy access to plants, right? And then we can take it to any level. The value chains, we should be dominating in every aspect of that. And so what that means is if we are dominating in cassava, and probably Ghana is, dominating in, let's say, oil palm or cocoa, right? We can easily do exchange, all right? And then Nigeria can travel to Ghana with ease. Ghana can travel to Nigeria, with ease. We are saying with this specialization and regional trade, Africa can become borderless, when each African country specializes in what they can do best, all right, and then there can be easy exchange, easy movement from point A to another. And we are saying, yes, we can do this by increasing regional trade, do what you're best at, and then economic integration. We can improve food security and reduce reliance on imports, because again, if you specialize in what you're best at, one of the things it helps you to do, is that your exportation reduces in that particular produce, and then you exchange with other people as well that are doing well in other areas. And, it helps to bring about jobs and stimulate economic growth when countries specialize and they are involved in regional trade. And then what it does eventually is that it fosters a borderless Africa and promotes economic cooperation. So let's look at the final question, all right? What's the impact in investing in agriculture, balancing returns and social impact? What are the most suitable investment models for agriculture in Nigeria and Africa as of now? So one of the models we're talking about is outgrower schemes. We have seen different schemes come up in agriculture in Nigeria, and one of the structures that we say that is really sustainable is outgrower schemes, getting, farmers along a community or in a community to work alongside with you. I mean, sponsoring them, providing them facilities, providing them with inputs and everything they need. And then you can help or take from them when they are done with production. And what you have done, to those farmers is that you have empowered them. And as well, when it comes to where to sell, they already have an established place of, selling their produce. That's one of the major problems of farmers. Farmers, a lot of people produce, they don't know where to sell. And that is why one of the first few things you do when you want to invest in agriculture is to ask yourself, where can I market what I'm about to produce? The moment you can answer that, you have scored about 60%, already. Also, there is contract farming. I think we do part of this where we get some farmers as well, and then we decide that together, let's do this. What is your, what are you good at? What are we good at? We put things together, and then we establish an agricultural plan, and then we make it work, together. Joint ventures, as well, where two different companies can come together to work to get an agricultural product, done. Also, agricultural insurance companies is another thing, we are saying that can help to move agriculture from one level of greatness to another level of greatness, because there are so many challenges in this space, that we face naturally. But when agricultural insurance companies are in place, they can help us, to combat whatever problems, that we face in that space. And agro to home, agriculture, and real estate as well has proven to be, a very solid plan, to make agriculture move, to the next level. So these are the kind of schemes we can look at when we talk about investing in agriculture in Africa. Okay, I think discussion A, transforming agriculture with technology and innovation. How can technology and innovation transform agriculture in Nigeria and Africa? Like you can see here, I mentioned initially, that drones are now being used to irrigate our farms. Then there is remote sensing from wherever you are. You can track whatever is happening, to your plants, to your animals. There is so much innovation going on in the agricultural space, that we can think of as well when we're thinking of investing. All right. Precision farming and digital agriculture is just one. Agricultural drones and satellite imaging, mobile apps as well, and digital platforms for farmers where they can get to interact, where they can get to share their problems. There's so much going on in agricultural technology that we can invest in. There's biotechnology as well. People are involved in laboratories trying to come up with, the best form of seeds, the best form of, animals, in terms of the best form of species, that we can deal with. I think somewhere in Brazil, when I went for a training, we talked about, a particular breed of cattle, Irilando, that produces so much milk than any existing, breed. So these are things that are going on in biotechnology and genetical engineering. All right. Again, I would like to end this, this discussion session by recommending that before we venture into anything agriculture, all right, we should take note of these few points. And first thing first is seek professional advice, right? Like I said, don't just, you think about something that you love it, but do so well, do a research, and then seek professional advice about that thing you think you want to go into. Again, seek a consultant. Probably you have to pay, for that. You seek a consultant, someone that you think is an expert in whatever you want to go into. The person will help guide you, in the right place and the right time to invest in agriculture. Another one that can come very easy is getting a mentor. All right, you have someone that you think, like that my friend that I mentioned has moved from zero to being a millionaire. One of the first things he did a research, looked for someone that was doing agriculture in a space that could mentor, and he found one. He messaged the person, and the person said, "Oh, I'm interested in mentoring you," and that was how he was able to get trained, and then that was where everything started for him. So you can get a mentor to guide you on what exactly you need to do. And I put it there at the end again, that seek knowledge. Seek knowledge. One of the ways you can seek knowledge, you can enroll in a business school that does agriculture. You can enroll in trainings for agriculture. You have to just ensure that you are well guided before thinking of investing in agriculture, because agriculture is not a space where you think you just want to come and make quick money, or you want to just come there and make, get the whole money out of it. Because that's what a lot of people would say, when they come to you, you guys are the richest, you guys are this, you guys are the that, without really thinking about what we go through. Because there are days that you put in so much and you get zero, and there are days you put in so much you get maximum. These are the things you can face in agriculture. One of our partner farms, recently, had flood take away all of their fish, and I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to a farmer that has about 10,000 birds and then in a day all the birds die? So I mean, there are so many things we can get to face in this space, but you have to be guided. You have to know the right way to get into it. So I'm going to end it with this closing quote, that the land is the only thing that can't be taken away from you. Invest in it, nurture it, and it will provide for you and your children forever. Again, the land is the only thing that can't be taken from you. It's fixed. When we learn factors of production in economics, we're told about land, labor, entrepreneur, and capital, right? And then he said the only one fixed is what? Is land. We have been given land to do so much with it in a very, good way. Take care of it, nurture it. It will do so much good, for you, to provide for you and your children, forever. And once again, I want to just end this, by saying that agriculture is a right place, to invest in, but you have to ensure you do your due diligence, before getting into it. Thank you. Should you have questions and comments for this session, please do well to drop it in our comment section and we'll attend to it. Thank you for joining us today.